Well, a lot of Bills Mafia felt their hearts sink a little bit yesterday with the news that Von Miller will miss the rest of the season with an ACL tear. It's an injury that team doctors didn't actually find at first. It took more than a week after he was hurt during that game on Thanksgiving. This injury means the defense is down its best pass rusher, and it comes just a week after Miller thought he may have escaped this with just a torn meniscus. He was even talking about possibly playing this Sunday against the Jets before getting the difficult news. We know you have a lot of questions about this, so joining us live tonight is Dr. Jason Matuszak, a sports medicine physician with Excelsior Pediatrics. We appreciate you coming back on the show. We talked to you before. I know you aren't directly involved with Von's care. We want to get that out of the way right off the top. But a lot of fans' first reaction here is how you can go from thinking this was something that was not a torn ACL, right? It seemed like the news was relatively positive, like maybe he would just miss a few weeks, to now getting this news that it is torn and it's a long-term injury. Does it just speak to how hard it is to diagnose something like this?
Yeah, actually it does. And I'm going to back up, just make one just quick correction for Excelsior Orthopedics, not Excelsior Pediatrics, but that's fine. I just wanted to, yeah, there's medical tests that we do, and there's physical examination that we perform on people when we're trying to determine these types of things. But there's also the imaging piece of this that goes into it too. And no matter how good our medical tests are and how good our imaging tests are, there's no such thing as a 100% test. Whether it's a urine pregnancy test or an MRI looking for something like an ACL tear, there's always a chance that that test isn't quite right. And so we always have to take any imaging study that we're doing with a grain of salt and really be prepared that what we're seeing on there might not be the whole picture. So in the case of an MRI, what we're talking about here is a ligament. We talked about that a little bit last month. Ligaments are things that help to hold the two bones together. This particular ligament in the knee holds the lower leg bone, the tibia, in place in relation to the upper leg bone, the femur, especially when you're doing things like pivoting and shifting. So when you're twisting on a fixed knee, this is the thing that helps prevent your knee, the upper part of your leg, from going too far out in front of the rest of your knee. And when you have damage to this ligament, it can be really hard for athletes to rely a lot on cutting and pivoting and twisting and then explosive activity. And if you don't have good stability with that ligament, if it's not doing its job well, that can lead to damage to some of the other structures inside the knee, things like meniscuses and your other cartilage, which then accelerates the rate at which you accumulate arthritis and can lead to a premature end to your career.
I have no idea why I would have said pediatrics. Definitely orthopedics. We'd be talking to the wrong expert right now, wouldn't we? This isn't the first time that Von Miller has hurt his knee. He tore the same ACL back in 2013, also sprained the MCL in 2019. How connected are these injuries? If you have one back then, does it make you more likely or maybe more susceptible to something like this? And I guess that kind of looking forward makes you wonder if you fully heal as time goes on.
Well, and really for the viewers who are paying attention, there was another athlete who was just in town interviewing and checking out the Bills, Odell Beckham Jr., who had done the same thing. He tore an ACL, had it reconstructed, and then went back out and tore the same ACL again. Now, there's a distinction here, and it's in male athletes, you tend to more often than not tear the same ACL that you tore before, whereas our female athletes tend to tear the ACL in the opposite leg more often if they tear another one. And yes, tearing it one time does make it more likely for you to tear it again. Some of it might have to do with the tissue integrity and things, but some of it might also have to do with just the way that your particular body works and your body mechanics. And how whether or not you are doing enough from a neuromuscular facilitation standpoint when you're doing these turning and twisting and pivoting movements in order to slow down your acceleration so you don't tear an ACL. So a lot of what we do now is geared towards making sure that we're focusing on ACL tearing prevention and teaching our athletes how to balance out their musculature so that they don't have these types of injuries in the first place. Or in the second place. So there is a little bit more risk for our athletes who have torn an ACL to go back and tear another ACL. For males, it's the same one, and for females, it tends to be the other one.
I've only got about 30 seconds left, but I want to ask you real quickly, the start of the NFL season is 273 days away. This one coming so late in this season. I mean, is it believed that this can be, fully healed and ready to go for next season for Von?
I think it would be a stretch. We used to push athletes back super fast. I think Jerry Rice was one of the first ones to come back at like 4 months. Now we tend to think things a little bit slower. So I don't think that seeing him back for the beginning of training camp is highly realistic. I think you're looking, to get him back during the season.
Dr. Jason Matuszak is a sports medicine physician with Excelsior Orthopedics. Thanks so much for coming back on. It's great to get your take on all this.
Happy to be here.